In my district, we now outnumber the Democrats on a regular vote. We will win the next vote as a Republican and
that's a continuation, and you're doing it. If you're doing it great, we need to expand that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I have a question, Assemblyman. It's a good thing. It was a good thing I spoke with O'Reilly, who's running
Mike
for
Riley
state
and
senate,
Stan Alley, right?
because he had a point about taking back the legislator in Albany. I actually made a point of question about people should start at the ground level called the county committee. The county committee is a ground level for people to not only have the power of the vote, but everyone in the community can be in the committee level, will also have the power to vote for the candidates that they're choosing, and also help expand the party a lot more. That can help bring support and help to all candidates and our elected officials.
Well, as far as I understand, okay, it's the party chair designate which are party people, invited, and they're the one that make the decision on that.
The district leaders.
District leaders.
I'm a district leader, and I know how she's talking about in regards to the Wilson Pecula, because I've been a district leader since 2013, and I don't vote for Wilson Pecula. Maybe once for a certain circumstance for the Conservative Party thing, there was a reason why, because
we need more Jewish.
But beyond that, I agree, we definitely need more Jewish people to switch, because that is a thing. Because when I've been asking for years about that, I said, why are you registered as a Democrat? Well, one of the main things is because there's primaries, and they want to be getting the lesser of two evils of the Democrat, like the better of the horror shows, choices, the radicals. They don't want that to be the Democrat nominee. They want to be at least a moderate or conservative type Democrat, at least. So that, and plus, because the way the makeup of New York is, where the Democrats control the Assembly, and now the state Senate, but it used to be where the Republicans controlled it. And it's always usually a Democrat governor, except for the anomaly of George Pataki for 3 terms. But they want choices in that regard in primaries. So I think it is also healthy to have primaries in the Republican Party.
Yes.
Because especially in light of what Cara Castronova was trying to run for U.S. Senate, and the state GOP knocked her away where she couldn't have a voice, so to speak. And the other guy that was running, there was 3 people running.
Separate call.
So I think it's important to have choices, as you mentioned, choices, to have, it's a healthy thing to have debate. Sometimes we're not going to agree, it gets contentious sometimes, but at the end of the day, I think we all have the same agenda in mind, and that's to have America, our state, our city, our borough, to be a sane one. Right now, it's an insane one. We are literally living in an insane twilight zone, and we need to stop that. And the only remedy right now is to elect conservative Republicans, or if there's a district where it's Democrat, then a conservative Democrat. And let's hope he just don't follow, well, my leadership says I have to vote for the liberal because I won't get some money. Because that's what happens.
That's exactly what happened. Exactly what
That's
happened.
why don't vote for the Democrats, because they're going to be vote, even though they might be conservative on a lot of issues, they're going to fall in line because they use the power of the purse strings and say, listen, then you're not going to have any funding for your office. Enjoy living on a folding chair, because that's what will happen. And they're like, no, I don't want a folding chair.
I have a folding chair. I mean, seriously.
I want a leather seat.
I had an office. I mean, 0 office. Supposed to be, I inherited Peter Body's office, but guess what? He closed that down, and that landlady didn't give me a lease. So I was operating folding chairs and borrow folding tables for a couple of months, and then all I have is $2,500 office budget to open. $2,500, which is nothing. So you see, you come to my office, furnitures and all that, other than computer equipment, they're all donated, or I dumpster dive. The chair I'm sitting on is out in the garbage. I picked it up, I reupholstered for $20, and that's my seat.
I gotta buy you a new chair.
I know what's waste, fraud, and abuse.
He's a Republican.
I'm a straight Republican. I went to serve my country, and I see waste, fraud. If it's not fraud, a lot of waste. And I believe in recycling what we can do.
Yeah.
Okay? So even you see my office, you see the desk, they look nice, but you look behind it, it's really second-hand, third-hand, broken down, costs taxpayer nothing.
Water, tissue, everything.
Everything. I donate. Water,
Water, whole pocket.
yeah, my own pocket, not even campaign funds. Because look, I got my pension, I got my disability from the VA. It's more than enough to take care of me. So the salary I get is insane. But then my staff budget is so small, 125,000. A year, staff salaries are 125. 125, how many people can employ? Not that many. So the best I can do
Because
is
he's a
part-time.
copycat.
Right. That's
But
it.
Gracely is a different, the
Oh,
Democrat
the
Gracely.
other, they have more.
Yeah.
So out of my own pocket, I take care of my staff. Staff knows it. So that's how I run, you know, and I believe in
And
that.
that's definitely the point. The point is that let's say you're going to vote for the conservative Democrat, they're going to fall in line with their leadership, and they're going to vote for and who's their leadership? Conservative Democrats? Communists. They're communists. They're communists. I don't care what they call themselves, progressive.
I have nothing. Nothing times nothing is always nothing. So I am the squeaky wheel. But to make sure that my squeaky wheel is louder next year, I have to make sure I will win re-election. I've been very calm.
Do
Yes.
you get any help from J.B. Williams? Because I know she's on the right side of this migrant,
The only help that she does, and she's a little bit outside my district, is to vote our way. And when we ask her to vote, she will vote our way. Okay, but still,
She breaks from the Democrats.
that's correct. I seen it done. But we get overrun. Okay.
Yeah.
But there's two things I wanted. Besides supporting Stephen Chang for manpower, it's possible to really
Well,
possible.
I'm sorry, let's one quick thing about Stephen Chang. Does he have a campaign office? Is there a way to get there besides a website or something like
Yes, he does have. He's occupied with Dick Chang office. Dick Chang's president's office. We use it as a campaign office as well. That's on Bay 29, right off at 86th Street.
that? Okay.
Okay.
Me too, and I can give him a campaign office in Oakland.
Okay, great.
Great.
There's two bills, and it's going to shock you to the core. There's two bills that the Assembly is trying to push at, and just went to City Council. Legalizing prostitution. Yes.
Get the migrants working.
They're gonna pay taxes then, right?
Legalizing prostitution.
I know.
There's two bills.
Casinos.
Well, okay, the casino. Okay, this is really
It's too late. It's too
Yeah,
late.
it's too late, because the day before we finished session, okay, when Governor Hochul, put a hold on the congestion pricing, you're talking about serious money that not going to fund for bond. Then there was a bill that came out 2 days before the end of session, was early revising of licensing of casino. That means you have to submit your casino license at the end of August 31st. They've been revised. They've been rushed right through the committee. So I suspect, there's 3 licenses out there. I suspect those casinos were going to fund what congestion pricing is not going to fund somehow. Or
And
what not.
probably to get a license to own a casino, you have to have been incarcerated for gambling or something, right?
Who knows?
Like the pot stores, right?
Like the pot stores, yeah.
Pot stores, that's another thing. But prostitution, just give you a heads up, that's what we're trying to push at. We need to, this is terrible. In line with casino, prostitution, that happens.
Okay.
All right, and all those illegal massage parlors, what happens gonna be, okay? So just give you a heads up on that. Next
Down
one,
to the family.
next one, unfortunately, the good cause eviction is a anti-landlord bill.
Yeah.
It's basically a universal rent control for small landlord and above, universal. So it's bad to be a landlord with tenants.
Yeah.
It's bad. And what's even worse, what they talk about is the squatter bills. After they passed the squatter bill, not the squatter bill, but Blumenkrantz, Assemblyman Blumenkrantz recommended on the Republican side, and of course, that bill got squashed and replaced with Ron Kim and John Liu with their squatter bills, and it turned out to be nothing, ineffective. Okay, so that means the landlord is getting screwed, basically. And I hate to say this landlord association is still contributing money to the Democratic Party. And while the Democratic Party is screwing them from the behind, all I can tell them is, don't support them, don't fund them, especially for landlord, they're getting
City of
they're getting
Yes.
rammed.
That's
They're
the
getting
only thing
rammed
they'll
from the
listen is
behind.
if they stop funding them, then they'll start.
The reason the big landlords are being, supporting them is because they get subsidies that we little landlords don't get.
Oh.
They get special tax credits for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
They're able to take in low-income housing or homeless into a regular building where you live, and they get an extra subsidy, while we little landlords take 2 years to evict somebody. Even though the government has the money to pay for the rent after a while before you evict somebody.
Yeah.
But again, the big landlords are bigger, that's why they're supporting, but it's
We
little guys
need-
like you and us tenants are getting screwed
Yeah.
because we lose services.
No, not lose service, losing potential affordable housing.
Correct.
Small landlords is really driving affordable housing. They're the one.
Right.
They prefer to have great tenant, even if they pay a little less than the
Correct.
market, they will love them, they will keep them. The problem is they couldn't find enough of them. You got a lot of bad tenants paying whatever market rent, but they're not paying that, or after 1 or 2 months, then you're a landlord yourself.
And a receiver for the city, and still we have these issues.
That's correct. Until we can get a Republican governor in a year and a half from now, we can't stop this nonsense. And I'm sorry, that's, sorry to report that, but what's optimistically, I hope we have a Republican president, right?
Right.
Yes.
That looks like it, right?
I hope
So we gotta support our next Republican president.
Where are we with the city of Yes? Because that's,
Oh, I'm against it.
yeah, well, yeah,
I'm
but
against it.
are they
The
pushing that
community,
right through? Yeah.
Yeah, I think the mayor's trying to push it through. Because so far, I've been to 3 community boards. They don't like it at all. I don't know why the City of Yes, community board is doing the function as City of Yes. People of City of Yes don't live in that neighborhood. They're somewhere in City Hall. They dictate whatever they think is housing density. But a community board, you have to live inside the district, right, to be a community board member. And I don't know why they're shoving this, because they know they can get the power. Yes, sir.
Why were they so quick to do an about-face on this congestion pricing plan? It's because the previous
Well,
president,
no, the unions are afraid.
Whose votes?
The unions don't like this.
the unions don't like.
This at all, because they have to pay for it if you're going to tolls, right? No matter what, you have to pay for the tolls.
Right.
See, when Bloomberg came out, an original idea was supposed to be certain tolls at certain time.
Right.
That's congestion pricing. You don't toll at nighttime, but this
The
is
old one was
24-hour
coming
toll.
back.
Yes.
Until they take down the camera. Until they take down the camera.
Until they take down the
Until they take down the, we're in a threat right now.
They're actually going to be putting more cameras in, I think 600 more. They're going to be putting
Red
in.
light cameras.
And they want to lower our speed limit.
And
I
the
think
5
They're
camera indicates your license gets
Right,
suspended.
they voted for it?
Yep.
No, I know the governor voted, the governor signed the bill to have the right for the city council to actually vote on that. So it had to go through the hurdle of the governor, she did that part. And now it's on the laps of the city council, which we all know, that's the good old Democrats, they're gonna vote for us, right? No, they'll make it where they wanna lower it to 20 miles per hour. That's just totally
Might as well just
insane.
use the bicycle.
20 miles per hour as the electric bike that goes 30 miles per hour
Yeah.
passes you. And no ticket for them.
Yes. So that's unfortunately, that's good and bad news. But this is the reality of it. So where do we stand? Where do we fight? Let's support our local candidates who are Republicans. That's the first thing. Whether it be treasury, whether it be your wallet or manpower. And I mean, we have to fight. This is the best time. If the people get fed up, I'm out in the street, and I talk to the Hispanic and the blacks. They hate what the migrants are doing. They hate it. They really do.
And then how did AOC get back in?
Okay, so maybe we have the sentiment right now. Maybe we have that red
You
wave.
can have this right now.
So we just have to make it happen.
Yeah.
Sandy.
This is the best time.
Lester, could you tell us about,
Let's call it Sandy.
could you tell us about your struggles when you first got into office, how they were against getting you on, like what they were trying to do to you?
Well, okay, just to recap how I.
Everyone,
Yeah.
please, quiet, please.
Now, if some of you don't know how I won my first time a year and a half ago.
I know what they did to you.
Quiet, quiet.
Okay. So when I first ran, okay, I ran, my opponent was Peter Body, 30-year incumbent, plenty of money, nearly $2 million in his campaign fund. He spent $400,000 on his campaign. I spent only $25,000. I raised $10,000, $15,000 come from my own personal pocket. I knew that based on Curtis Lewa, that it's possible that I could win, but I have to work a little bit harder. Since I don't have that kind of resources, I can't do mailers. $25,000, what can you do? So all I did was printing posters, palm cards, a couple of banners, and what I did is a lot of volunteers, high school volunteers, and I pound 4,000 doors, not Republican, Democrat doors.
And independent.
All right, because my slogan is Chang for change. We need to change. I won with about 600, just under 700 vote margin. Once I won, then of course they're sore loser. I never received a call from Peter Body. Never did. I'm still waiting for it. Maybe in next life I might receive a call from him in the next life. Okay, so what happened is they challenged my residency. And even though, hey, this is a redistricting, I have my mother's home. I lived there for about 50 years, and no, I was living in Manhattan, but I moved to take care of my mother. She has Alzheimer's, 95 years old, so hey, good son, you have to stay home. I still have my own room in all that, so I used my family in Brooklyn for 50 years, in Midwood, J and 29 for 50 years. So they used that as a challenge against me, even though I duly won the election. There was no problem about the vote because it's all machine vote. There's very little absentee ballot, which is less than 300 absentee ballot. If you all give it to Peter Body, I'd still be ahead. So there was no question about that. So now I have to go in December into their hearing room or the assembly room. About 20 some odd assemblymen, they're all from Judiciary Committee, and maybe about 8 of them are Republican, the rest is Democrat out of 20. 8 are Republican. And for about 4 hours there, I was grilled, I was guilty of something. Okay, talking about my residency. Okay, and thank God the Republican Party hired a long-time lawyer, a defense attorney, a Chinese, used to be a deputy commissioner for the NYPD, and he's a lawyer. So he's a Democrat, but he took my case with a passion, and he argued with a passion to his colleague, he's a Democrat, that why are you kicking out a duly elected person, and then the definition of residency is very loosely defined, is where you have your head on where you sleep, okay? Because people have second home and third homes.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of assembly people, they have homes up in Albany, so what do you call that?
Tell that to the mayor, he lives in Jersey.
Yeah, right? Even the mayor has a Jersey home. So the definition is very specific definition on that. I meant those requirements, but then the physical is where is your real home? Your home is where you put your head on the bed. That's a general definition. But there's a lot of Democrats in there, saw it, don't want to vote me out. They just didn't. They didn't want to be the first one to kick me out, a Chinese in my community, duly elected because of that. So they were afraid, and then everything collapsed. So what they did is they diverted to the Attorney General to make a decision on that, and I still haven't heard anything from the Attorney General. Yep. So that was the solution on that. Because they couldn't vote it, they don't have the stomach for it, and I'm duly elected for it. So I want to make sure that my next election is solidified on that.
What is the pressing issue that you see going on in your particular community that is real?
Oh, like everybody, quality of life call, the unlicensed moped or electric bike. Those are, in riding on a bicycle, those are our issues, all everywhere. That's the first thing. Second, trash. Third, overgrown trees. The city issue, isn't it?
Oh yeah, a lot of trees came down the other day.
Yeah, So something. All right, let me update on some of the laws about the unlicensed bike. Right now we have legislation we did pass. This first thing is point of sale. Those bikes have to be registered. Before it wasn't. Just like a car, you have to register once it leaves the automobile dealer lot. This time, once the governor signed it, plus six months or 9 months, then the dealer have to register.
Do they have to get insurance?
They should.
I know.
I don't know how much it's expensive.
They go hit a car and they're
Yeah.
going fast.
So my